Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're jumping right into a cinematic explainer focused on something that's honestly captivated us for centuries: lost treasure. We're going to explore the fascinating, literal, buried reality of history's vanished wealth. We're talking incredible stories, fallen empires, and the cutting-edge tech trying to pull these historical ghosts right back to the surface. Let's get into it. So, ask yourself this. What if billions of dollars in legendary treasure are still hidden on Earth, just waiting to be discovered? And look, we aren't just talking about a couple of stray gold coins kicked into the dirt. No, we are talking about entire treasuries of ancient kingdoms that just vanished from the historical record. It is a staggering reality, honestly. Undiscovered billions are currently sitting beneath dark oceans, buried under deep jungles, or hidden within those glowing, cryptic parchment maps of antiquity.
All right, part 1. The vanishing. How treasures disappear. You know, we almost always picture pirates quietly burying a chest of loot on some deserted beach, right? But the reality of how wealth vanishes is so much more violent and chaotic. Priceless artifacts disappear through the brutal, unpredictable forces of history. Just picture medieval castles completely sacked during sweeping wars, with their riches hastily buried in the surrounding forests just to keep them safe. Or entire treasure fleets completely swallowed by sudden, violent tempests before they even see the shoreline. You've got ancient, thriving cities buried in seconds by massive earthquakes, trapping absolute fortunes beneath layers of rubble. And of course, there's the slow, inevitable collapse of once great civilizations, where massive monuments of gold are simply reclaimed by the encroaching jungle. These are the relentless engines of historical loss.
Moving on to part 2, stolen and sunken wealth. Just consider the sheer contrast in how history loses its masterpieces. Take the magnificent Amber Room, for example. We're talking about an entire 18th century royal palace interior crafted entirely from intricate, glowing amber panels. During the sheer chaos of World War II, it was hastily packed into crates and just vanished into hidden bunkers. It was a victim of human conflict and grand-scale theft. But then contrast that land-based loss with the Flor de la Mar. Now, this wasn't stolen by soldiers. This was a purely nature-driven aquatic loss. A massive Portuguese galleon swallowed whole by a violent tropical storm. It really just proves that nature is every bit as capable of erasing history as human warfare is. 1511. The sheer scale of this mystery really hits you when you realize that the Flor de la Mar, loaded to the brim with unprecedented wealth gathered from Southeast Asia, has been sitting in pitch-black, freezing water since that exact year. Over 5 centuries. I mean, just imagine mountains of gold, precious stones, and priceless artifacts completely locked in the deep, waiting hundreds of years for a single ray of light to touch them again. It absolutely puts into perspective just how much of our human history is sitting silently in the dark. Which brings us to part 3, buried secrets of empires. Picture the vast, misty Mongolian mountains. Somewhere beneath that endless steppe lies the undiscovered tomb of Genghis Khan. According to lore, a highly secret funeral procession carried his body and unimaginably vast treasures deep into the wilderness. And to ensure the location remained permanently hidden, the legend actually says the Mongol cavalry deliberately trampled the burial ground, and the soldiers who buried him were killed to keep the secret safe forever. It is genuinely mind-boggling to think you could go for a hike across those mountains today, completely unaware that you are walking directly over the immense, untouched wealth of history's greatest conqueror. In a very similar vein, history completely swallowed the legendary Aztec gold of Montezuma. Before the conquest, the magnificent city of Tenochtitlan was practically dripping in intricate gold artifacts, all of which were seized by Spanish conquistadors. But that staggering wealth completely vanished during a chaotic, really desperate night escape across the causeways of central Mexico. The historical record tracks this immense fortune right up to that fateful night of rain and blood, and then just nothing. The landscape simply reclaimed it, plunging centuries of indigenous craftsmanship straight into the muddy depths. Now let's look at part 4, the Oak Island Enigma. Okay, so Oak Island is pretty much the ultimate monument to human obsession. For centuries, searchers have pored over cryptic parchment maps. They've dug massive, incredibly dangerous shafts and navigated ancient flooded tunnels. Yet, despite millions of dollars and literally lifetimes of effort, it has yielded absolutely no definitive, verified treasure. It's such a fascinating psychological enigma. Kind of like the ultimate sunk cost fallacy, right? I mean, why do we keep digging when the Earth gives us nothing back?
It perfectly captures our desperate human need to solve the unknown, proving that sometimes the mystery itself is way more alluring than the actual gold.
Let's wrap up with Part 5, Modern Treasure Hunters.
Thankfully, today, archaeologists have essentially traded in their shovels for science fiction. First, from orbit, satellites and drones scan the Earth, looking for those faint, hidden geometric patterns of forgotten cities, buried under thick jungle canopies. Then, out on the water, research vessels deploy incredibly sophisticated sonar to ping the pitch-black ocean floor for anomalies. And finally, we send in the ROVs. These are remote-operated underwater robots that travel into the crushing depths to illuminate shipwrecks and carefully extract artifacts that human hands could literally never reach. This is how the modern treasure hunt is won, guys. It's a high-tech pursuit where satellites and robotics have finally caught up to centuries-old rumors. So, as these hidden locations on the map slowly illuminate through the power of all this modern technology, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Which discovery will rewrite history forever? Will it be Montezuma's gold, Genghis Khan's tomb, or maybe something we don't even know is missing yet? The very next thing we pulled from the earth or the sea might just change absolutely everything we thought we knew. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this sparked your curiosity. Keep exploring.